If you're planning to run a tabletop RPG like Monster of the Week and are looking for a simple scenario to run, I might have something for you. Campus Mischief is a short monster hunting mystery that takes place in a college dorm. Though it was designed with the game Monster of the Week in mind, you could easily transpose it to another system. You'll find here all the pieces you need to run this scenario, although feel free to modify it if you wish. And though this is a rather improvisational game, I included some extra leads and clues, in case you're just getting started and want to have some extra safety. So gather your monster hunting gear, and let's get started. The investigation starts with a video. Recorded from a cheap nanny cam in Thoseley College, it shows a computer keyboard magically float into the air and exit the computer science study lab in the middle of the night. Posted anonymously under the title, "Prove that Thoseley College is haunted," it has gone viral online so much that it almost became a meme. Most people say it's fake, but it has got some bad press for Thoseley College. Perhaps the hunters hear wind of it and decide to investigate on their own. Or perhaps they are contacted by the university's administration on the down low, so that in the very unlikely case there is something weird here, they will exorcise it quickly and people will stop calling admissions about it. Thoseley College is a private liberal arts university located in the countryside of New Hampshire. Remote from the big city, the campus is surrounded by greenery, in which students love to hike, jog, or share cheap beers around the bonfire. The school prides itself on the wide variety of courses it offers, ranging from competitive sports program to challenging computer science courses. Recently, however, if you ask some students how their semester is going, there's a good number of them whose answer would not be positive. Several bizarre accidents have taken place in the past few weeks. Computer equipment has been stolen from the lab, libraries, and dorm rooms. But more importantly, the frat boys from the Burke dorm house have been the target of dangerous sabotage and what we no longer believe to be accidents. So what's really at play here? When the British ships arrived in New England, so did brownies. In folklore, these creatures are mostly friendly spirits who attach themselves to a household and help with tasks and chores. They prefer to provide their help in the households of honest and hardworking individuals and despise laziness. They don't make their presence known and remain invisible most of the time, which means it might take a while before anyone notices their presence. When they are noticed, it's likely because something went wrong. As a type of fairy, a brownie's methods can sometimes be unconventional or even mischievous. For the sake of our scenario, our monster needs powers and weaknesses. Their main advantage is their invisibility. Once they are revealed, though, they are much easier to deal with no particular gift for combat. Although if you wish, they could have picked up some things in their environment to use as weapons. As for weaknesses, they cannot resist sugar and sweet treats and could easily be lured with those. Fig, Ertam, and Mud are a small group of brownies that settled a long time ago in the woods surrounding the school. They recently have taken a liking to one of the students, Adela Barrios. Though Adela has no idea that such creatures even exist, the brownies have decided to help her out. Problem is, they have not evolved to the times, and their assistance so far has been the opposite of helpful. They saw that Adela spends a lot of time on her computer to complete assignments, and what they deduced from it is that she likes computers. Therefore, they have stolen computers from the school to drop them in her dorm room. They saw that the frat boys downstairs and their loud drunken parties were bothering her when she's trying to work. So why not sabotage the common room to punish and injure them? This is their primary goal, to punish those guilty of stressing out Adela. Whether a monster is down, let's take a look at the characters involved. Adela Barrios. In Monster of the Week terms, Adela Barrios is an innocent and only wants to do the right thing. A driven freshman on a competitive computer science scholarship she tends to keep to herself. Unfortunately for her, she was assigned to the Burke house, which is the loudest dorm on campus. And though she is not aware of the brownies' existence, they have made her life significantly harder. It started relatively harmless, coming home to a tidy and clean room, which is already pretty creepy. Then it quickly escalated to stolen computers turning up on her bed. She thinks she's going insane from the stress and pressure of college and has not told anyone about what's happening. Adela plays a key role in this story. If the hunters mediate between her and the brownies, the situation could be resolved peacefully. However, a fallout with Adela could make the creatures even more vindictive. Graham Olsen. Graham Olsen is the Burke Brownie's main victim and will likely find himself in danger again throughout the mystery. Graham and his bros are not mean-spirited, just a bit oblivious to how loud they are and how annoying they might be to their fellow dorm mates. He is a great athlete, the life of the party, and a complete frat boy, though he's had to put his keg stand streak on hold since the Brownie's sabotage put him in a neck brace. The floor of his room was coated in something super slippery, which is definitely a step up from the Brownie's first pranks, where he and his friends would find a bunch of thumbtacks in their clothing drawers. Bennett Sim. Bennett Sim is a key witness and could provide valuable information about the creatures and their taste for sugar. A lovable pothead, Bennett spends most of his time watching indie movies or peacefully enjoying his high. He lives on the same floor as Adela and has witnessed one of the brownies dropping his invisibility after tasting one of his fresh-baked edibles. Bennett told a few people that there's this little gnome guy who likes to come by sometimes and really seems to enjoy his baking. But then again, to most of the students on campus, it's hard to believe what Bennett says. Who knows if he's on shrooms, right? J. Malik. In this mystery, Jay fancies herself a detective and will help the players rule out possible explanations. A student of Thorsley College, she has a passion for everything conspiracies and supernatural. She's the one who taped the video that went viral and will be quick to notice and approach a group of strangers on campus. And she gets really excited about the presence of monster hunters. Though most of her research about the supernatural comes from dubious online forums, she knows a lot about the school and can be a good guide if the players find themselves stuck. With the characters listed, let's now move on to locations. Computer Science Study Lab 2. This location's main purpose is to reveal information, and it is likely where the investigation will begin, considering that's where the video was taken. Some computers and other equipments are missing, their cables forgotten or torn in the process. The brownies don't know how technology works. They have no idea the keyboard won't work without its cable. The Berghaus Common Room. As a crossroads location, the Berghaus Common Room is where the hunters can easily meet people. As for aesthetics, you'll find here a bunch of leftovers, red cups from beer pong, some gross couches, and a framed picture of the house residents taken on move-in day. Adela's dorm room. This room is another hub of information on the brownies, their activities, and their motives. From here you can hear all the loud noise from the common room and smell the lovely scent of pot wafting from the corridor. Behind the seemingly normal look of this dorm room, a few clues can be gathered, like a bunch of stolen equipment stashed under the bed, or an internet history asking, "How to know if I'm insane?" The woods. The woods that surround the college are the den of the brownies when they are not on campus. They also use it to lure unsuspecting frat boys. The woods has its own power, which it only uses against the brownies' targets. It can reshape itself or trick its victim, causing them to get lost or separated, or maybe worse, depending on how violent you want your fairies to be. With all these pieces set up, let's see our countdown. This is how the situation would have moved forward without the players' involvement. And even with their presence, some version of this is what's happening in the background as they investigate, raising the stakes the more time goes on. First, another computer is stolen from the school, this time a very pricey one. After finding it, Adela has a nervous breakdown and completely lashes out at her dorm mates. The brownies decide that the Berghaus residents should be punished for upsetting her. Vig, Ertam, and Maud sabotage the Berghausing facilities, and some students get mildly injured from it. After their fight, and led by Graham, the residents decide to blame Adela for these pranks. In response, the brownies decide to take drastic measures. The brownies lure Graham into the woods, in which he magically gets lost. 2 days later, Graham's corpse is found at the edge of the woods. His body seems to have been lost in the wilderness much longer than he was missing. Finally, during a very loud celebration in honor of Graham after his funeral, more frat boys go missing in the woods. Thorsley College is forced to close down, and Adela transfers. The brownies follow her to her new college, where this cycle will repeat itself. All this should be enough information to get started and run this mystery. But should you want some ideas on what to do if your players find themselves stuck, here's a few clues you could easily drop on them. First, there are plenty of rumors that the hunters can overhear around campus, about the dangerous pranks at the Berghaus, about there being tension between Adela and her dorm mates, or old stories about the woods being haunted. Second, since they like sweet things so much, maybe the brownies actually leave literal crumbs everywhere. Once you identify their spots in there, anyone on campus can tell you who makes this kind of stuff. Along the same lines, and if the players really are way off, perhaps Jay receives something from Bennett. It's a picture of one of the brownies, high on some edibles. The accompanying text says, "See, told you my little gnome guy was real." Jay will be quick to show the photo to the hunters. Next, after some more weird stuff happening in her dorm room, maybe Adela can be found somewhere on campus, either discreetly trying to return some stolen equipment or having a complete meltdown. Finally, Graham is likely to find himself in danger or tricked into the woods by by the brownies. Once the hunters hear of it, it might be easier tracking Graham than tracking the brownies themselves. He might leave a few things behind, hoping that someone will find him. If you end up playing this scenario or have some ideas to contribute, I would love to hear about it. Don't be shy, reach out. On this note, have a good night, and may the monsters never find your hiding place.